All right, I am back with another video. I'm part of the Video a Day Challenge in September. I recorded one earlier today, and this one is being done from my phone using an alternative to Zoom, which is called Free Conference Call. I was using that before there was a Zoom, and while I like the technology of both, I found it easier or learned how to do free conference call from my phone to demonstrate certain things. So in preparing for the next video, I mentioned in the one I did earlier today that I would be talking about voting. I think this is going to be a two-part video. This first one, I was looking for information, and I don't know about you, but I live on Facebook. I get my information from Facebook. I get my news. I don't go looking for stuff. I just come to Facebook, and my connections and Facebook bring me that information. So if you're on your phone and you click the three horizontal lines in the top right, which I'm getting ready to do, it reveals the menu, right? And if you scroll down, you will see Voter Information Center. I found that this morning. Maybe I overlooked it. On the left side, if you're on your desktop, it should be right up under your name, Voter Information Center. This is something you want to read. You really want to read it because the information is actually coming from a credible source, and I'll show you what that is. But the first thing you'll notice is the information shows I'm in Atlanta, so I can talk about Georgia because I've actually worked with the polls since the hanging Chad debacle in whatever year that was. I got involved with the voting process, and that's really the purpose of this video, is to encourage each and every person that sees this, you know somebody, they're of age to vote. This election is important, and you can do your part. Even if you don't vote, they need poll workers, and I can talk to you about that as well. So right here, if Atlanta is my city, for you, it should be wherever you live in the U.S. You're going to want to read whether or not, what does it mean to register to vote? You want to check your voter registration. There's information about absentee ballot voting. And here in Georgia, it's the same as voting by mail. Now, you're hearing 45 publicly tell you some not truths. They're just straight up not true. That, in my mind, is equivalent to fraud. And there is a difference between fraud and suppression. Voter suppression is what's happening. It's what has happened. It's what's going to continue to happen because there are people that don't want others to vote, and they find ways to make that happen, closing polling locations, removing you from the rolls. That's happened here in Georgia, okay? A couple of years ago, 2 or 3 hour wait because there was no power cords. Come on now. I know those machines come with power cords, so what's the problem, right? Those are suppression tactics. When the person in charge is running again and tells people in whatever city, state he made that ridiculous comment about you should try and vote twice. That's fraud. It's not going to work. You can't do it. Don't do it, right? So mail-in voting, military has been using that for years. Americans who live outside the country and choose to vote in our elections, they get mail-in ballots. So that's no different than what's going on right now. Absentee ballot, mail-in ballot, the exact same thing. If we don't want to trust the Postal Service with getting it back in time, that's fine. Walk it to your nearest election office. Go to an early polling location and drop it off. Do whatever you got to do to get it in the hands of the people that handle the counting, which are not the poll workers. That also needs to be made clear. So if there's any fraud going on, it's not the voters who are casting their votes. It probably is the people in charge of the equipment as well as the ones in charge of counting the paper ballots, okay? But you want to read these things, learn about them for your state, your county. You want to get your ID ready. You need a driver's license. If it's expired here in Georgia, that's fine. If it's an out-of-state license, that's going to be a problem. If you were met at the polls, you go to vote in person, and at any time you are I need to turn my notifications off. If you were told that you can't vote for some reason or another, they can't find your name, your address is wrong, you're out of state, whatever they tell you, you at that point can ask for a provisional ballot, which is a paper ballot. And they're obligated to give it to you so that you can vote. Don't let anybody turn you away if you show up in person to vote. But you want to read through these things. And I just thought it was interesting because it's very thorough. But what I really liked was the serve as a poll worker. So you want to see the opportunities. And there's a couple of websites. But here, this is going to securevotegeorgia.com. Secure a ballot. Secured absentee ballot. You can become a poll worker. Right? You can sign up to be a poll worker. I can't stress this enough. They'll pay you for the training as well as the day before, your time to set up the polling locations as well as the day of the election. Okay? I can only speak about Georgia and the counties that I've done poll work in, but that's something that you really want to consider. Regardless of who you vote for, regardless of whether you plan to vote. And everybody has their opinion about that, but this is a very important election, and you need to get involved. This is your time to do your civic duty. Be a poll worker, because those of us who have done this before, we're tired. I mean, we've done it before, and it's time for fresh blood, right? So I wanted to bring your attention to that. You want to be a poll worker. You can go to your election office, county office. You can get information online. But I just thought it was great that Facebook does give you all this information. And, in fact, every source listed here, it says Bipartisan Policy Center, right? So you want to go through and you want to make sure even, you know, they give you the history of voting by mail, walk it in. There's no excuses not to get your vote on. None. Zero. If you plan to vote, make it happen. Same thing with they've got safety precautions in effect, supposedly, for COVID-19. If you don't want to show up, fine. Don't go. Just make sure you get your ballot in your hand and you either put it in the mail or you walk it to the, you know, drive it over to the election office, find a, they're supposed to have ballot boxes where you could just drop it in, right? But the main thing you want to do is check your voter registration, even if you voted before, because I can tell you, there's shenanigans happening, and you don't want to be caught unaware on November 3rd. This is September 3rd. You have a full 60 days to take care of this responsibility that is really most sacred. Get your vote on, make sure you're registered, make sure the information is correct, make sure that you get a ballot, and you do whatever is necessary to make sure that you are legal to vote. And it's not difficult, but all the information is here, and I wanted you to be able to see that. So I have notifications coming in. I think I've talked long enough. I'll do another one shortly, but I want to make sure that people knew this was available. You know, it says register to vote. It's going to take you based upon where you're located. It'll say register to vote. This is for the Secretary of State's office. See the URL at the top? Georgia.gov. And it tells you everything. So for your state, it's going to be different, but you want to follow these procedures. And I'll tell you, I've already talked about this in some previous videos, what has happened to me personally, and I will use that. That'll be video number 3, I guess, for today, so I'm caught up. But you want to check both of these things. Click through, read it. Don't skim it. Read it. Understand it. Understand it, okay? So that you are not caught unawares when it comes time to vote. This is available on your phone. It's also available online. And if you're looking at Facebook and you look at your name over in the left column, there should be right up under that, Voting Information Center, okay? So that's all I'm going to talk about in this video. Again, I recorded it using free conference call, and I'm just going to home, and I got to it, like I said, from these 3, they call this the hamburger menu. Over here on the top right, those 3 horizontal lines, you click that. You can see your profile, but if you scroll down, you will see it's under groups for me, voting information, right? There's a wealth of information here. Facebook is always changing things, but, you know, we got to roll with it, right? So you have a great day. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm now going to stop this recording, and it will be available for you to look at, and please share it. I'll have another one where my face is showing, and we can have a conversation if you'd like about voting. Take care. Be well. Stay safe. Bye.